I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
Yeah, and even like speak, don't like. I know. Listen, Leon. Yeah, I know because like I'm in the know in the sense of media and stuff like that. And you have to be like politically correct or whatever. But here's a chance for you for an hour or 40 minutes, whatever we do this. Speak like a talent man. Speak with your chest, bro. You get me? Because obviously, even with me, I know they're gonna expect me to kind of do a Fab thing. I'm not gonna do that. You get me? Obviously, I'm more seasoned now. But I do have some questions and some stuff that we need to.
I was only watching the dive into last night.
Oh wait, yeah, just to get the. You think you're gonna get? Gonna get
a little bit of preparation.
Why am I not?
I don't think I could actually speak fully. You know.
No, I'm not saying no effing blowing and like fuck this person that said nah, but obviously, like I'm giving you a question. I'm gonna have for me, I'm gonna have to be kind of like I don't want to be not friendly, not mean, but. I do have pressing questions that I'm sure the audience would like me to, you know what I mean? Because if I leave this, he didn't ask the right questions, you know what I mean? So just asking a question that we can debate if there's a debate to be had. But before all that, bro, what's the gig? What's up with you? How's your week been?
It's been good, yeah. No, it's been grand. I've started a new job.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So, come back to Middle East Students Union. So running events and engagement in there. So I was doing Black and Irish full time for the summer. That was good fun. Just because I was in Salesforce before that, and obviously with the tech layoffs and stuff like that, got hit with that. So had a bit of time then to, work on Black and Irish and stuff like that. But myself and my partner are going for a mortgage now. So, the banks were like, no, Black and Irish is not something that, because it's only been around 3 years. I'd be considered self-employed. It's not something that I could go to the banks with and they'd be like, this is good enough for a mortgage for. So, so I'm back working now, which is very different to how my summer has gone. And just living life, coming down off of it, a bit of a mad summer, it was all over the place. I was at a few festivals. I did a bit of traveling and got engaged.
We're gonna get into that.
Okay, we're gonna get into it.
Do you know what? You know what's beautiful about this though, Leon? Yeah, me and you, we've watched each other grow up.
Yeah.
So I've seen your journey, you've seen my journey, and we're both here sitting on the couch. This is what I love about podding. It's not even about and I'll get into a bit of a conversation about, the creative scene and the scene or whatever. Okay. And I want to do 2 cents on a couple of conversations that happened during the week. But it's the beauty of this is just seeing, even I was with my schoolmates the other day, and I have an idea, because how I do my seasons, I just bring people on a journey, you know what I mean? So I'll show people where I'm at now, and then I'll get the whole people on and catch up or whatever. So I was even thinking of getting on my old schoolmates on just to see where we're at in life. So I love about podding. Like I said, I've seen your journey, man, grow from Leon, the young flat, and you see me, Goody, the footballer, to Bladen doing this bollocks. But engagement, bro, you're out of the streets, man.
Yeah, it's
how did that go for you? Like, what was the? Why is she retirement?
She's the one, she's just brilliant, she completes me, do you know what I mean?
Abi president.
No, she's someone who, I don't want to make a cliche in that, she makes up for a lot of what I lack, but, she does, she kind of, she completes me, do you know what I mean? I love how I feel when I'm around her. I love who I am when I'm around her, because obviously I'm from Tala, I love buzzing off her, do you know what I mean? But no, she's a great human being, she's a great person, and I love her.
Yeah, that's you're bro, you sound like a lover boy, and I love that, because you are an age now, especially me, man. I've hit the big 3-0, and it's time for all that bollocks is over. Do you know what I mean? Boys, we were talking off camera, and I'll touch on it a little bit. For those who think I'm gonna speak on it today, obviously I done a little video midweek. Something happened, something got out that shouldn't have got out. Obviously, and people who watch and listen, if you just listen, obviously I've spoke on it a little bit, where I've been going through a lot in my own personal relationship, and that video man saw was the result of that. You know what I mean? And look, I said, live show 22nd of November. If you want to get full context to that, go boy bleeding take it, you sungy people. Do you know what I mean? But for the people that just want to go and see your boy live, showing out for the man, them showing out for the hood, live show 22nd of November, and we'll touch on it towards the end as well. But like I said, herself as well, I was in a longer relationship, and it's I had them same feelings, Leon, but obviously we were just going through all that shit, and it's I want to get that back where you were at. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if this doesn't work,
No,
I'm out here.
I feel
I'm
that.
out here, bro.
Yeah, and like it's not
Swinging it.
It's not easy like that.
We'll be slapping all people's go on, sorry, go on. Bro, I've had enough, man. I've had enough, bro.
No, like, but relationships aren't easy, like, do you know what I mean? And
Brother.
you go through your trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people think that what they see on social media is the be all and end all of a relationship, and that if someone is only posting happy and loving posts, that that's it, you know. But you don't see the kind of inner workings of a relationship behind closed doors, the arguments, the frustrations, the moods that both of you may be in that cause you to clash. So, you know, that's just life, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think a lot of people think that relationships are, you know, perfect, and then all of a sudden they see something break down online, or they're like, oh, what the hell happened there? Like, you know. So, yeah, I think just if you're going off of social media as to what a relationship is, then you're a bit mad, like.
100%. And just for the P, I know obviously this is on camera, but I don't give a rat's. I would say it off camera as well. Leon reached. I know Leon. We're gonna get into it. Gets a lot of stick. The organization's in. We're gonna get into all that. Man, are gonna expect me to cook him the way I cooked that blading thick. But Leon reached out when I dropped that video. It's one of them, like, people really thought, you know when you're saying you're fine, but it's like you're kind of masking. I'm literally not. And this is not me getting. It's not me getting past the TD Jakes. It's not me being KD, open circle on a bleeding Tuesday. Yeah. This is me being so real. It's like my relationship with God the last, say, 18 months has been granny. Brilliant. And there's where I'm getting my strength from, where, like, these fools, which this is exactly what they are, don't faze me with whatever they're saying or whatever they're doing. Do what you need to do. Do you know what I mean? You should be out there getting a job or finish your education. Look at your ma, you're out here talking about me. This is why I go around saying I'm the biggest star in Dublin. Anything, go to football games, I lose. My team loses, I'm the one they're talking about. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the only one out here with a relationship where a gal goes off or I went off or whatever. They're talking about me, sending in the group chats. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I appreciate you so much, man, for reaching out. And I rate that, bro. Do you get me? Because obviously we've had our back and forths online. Most of it for me was marketing anyways. I know what I'm doing. I know how to manipulate. You don't go attacking black and Irish. Bro, don't go attacking black. Bro, don't go attacking black and Irish is big news, bro. Everyone's got to talk about it. It's big news. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I really rate that you reaching out. So, and thank you. No, God bless you as well. But
can I?
Go ahead.
Let's jump in there, because me and you, Dongo, we're very alike. You know, we come from very similar backgrounds, and you succeeding is me succeeding, because we're both from the same area. Me succeeding is you succeeding. You know, when people from our areas look at us and go, oh shit, this is actually possible, this is something that we can do in my field of advocacy or running events or whatever it is that I'm doing, or your work of personality work, being out there, being a public figure. Do you know what I mean? That's why, you know, I want us to, you know, you know, like, if we're gonna have the marketing stuff, of course, like, you know, I'm all for it. But that's the reason why you know, I care, and that's why I reached out and dropped you a message to see how you're getting on. If there's nothing I can do to help. So.
And like I always say, bro, brothers argue, bro. Friends argue. It's not for me. Even I'm gonna touch on it as well on the What's the Gig this week. It's like, I don't want a relationship where, look, him and his brother, bro, when it's too far and going, right, I'll go at them, they'll go at me. It's like it's all in a sense of, like, love as well. Do you get me? So it's no biggie, it's no bother. Do you know what I mean? Like, of people having a go at each other within respect and love. Do you get me? But yeah, this week's What's the Gig, bro? Obviously, shout out to Charge. This week's episode was absolutely brilliant. I got a lot of, like, you know, feedback on Twitter and stuff, and might touch on a little bit of your events, but just, like, obviously about people being upset. Me myself, I'll hold my hand up, and I'll get into the one that really upset me, got me upset, and take some accountability and call myself a bitch if I can, and I'll let you know why I'm saying that. Yeah, so obviously Charge had a conversation, and it went, you know, on Twitter and stuff like that. People were having discourse and conversations. What's your thing on, bro? Like, you know, when the likes of myself, you know, are crying about not being invited to events. What's your little overall take on that? Your opinion on it, if you have any. And I want you to be, like I said to you on top of this, like, be as real, as transparent as possible as you can.
No, like, I think people in the creative scene, and I'm going to call it the creative scene is a microcosm within the black community. I'm going to talk about, like, black. Can
you just explain, because there's a lot of hood niggas watching this, they don't know what microcosm means.
So it's like a sub community within a community.
Yeah.
So you have, like, creatives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who have now donned the scene, or they're using this terminology called the scene. No one can describe what the scene is. The seen as this elusive thing that floats in the ether or whatever. I think a lot of creatives are very hard on themselves when they're not getting invited to things. And there are many reasons why you might not be invited to things. One is they might not have seen you yet. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is, to be honest with you, I know, and I've watched previous podcasts of yours where people were saying, Ireland is too small, they should have seen me by now. That actually isn't the case. You know, people might not have seen you. They might not have gone through all of your content yet, or gone through all of your songs yet, and found out who you are. So I think that's the first thing. Like, if you're not being invited to things, like, just, you know, I can understand that it might be difficult seeing other people out and enjoying themselves, but don't be hard on yourself. Don't be saying, oh, it's, you know, I'm not doing good enough, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is not directed at you, Dango, but if you're not invited to something, I think one of the worst things that you can do is take it online first. I think the best thing that you can do is reach out and network. You know, be like, hey, I saw you around this event. I would have loved to have gone. How come I wasn't invited? I know that might sound like
beggy.
You're being a beg. But you don't even need to do it that way. Then you could reach out and say, hey, look, I just saw you ran an amazing event. Like, fair play, well done. I'd love to come next time. I'd love to network, or I'd love to perform, or I'd love to do this or that or whatever. I think we all need to stop this rush to the finish line of, oh, I made it, I'm here, I'm in. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to be invited to every event going forward from now on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I wasn't invited to the Warner event. It's not something that I went home and I was like, I'm like crying into my pillow about this, I'm very upset. You know, I just realized that, like, look, I didn't get an invite. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll just keep it moving. I'll be invited to things in future. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I love my craft. So I'm going to keep doing that. And if people recognize me, then great. If people don't, well, then I'm getting to do the thing that I love anyways. But look, I'm like, I understand for some people that being invited to these things is important for them. The best thing that you can do is network and reach out to the people and you know, build a relationship with them, and they'll invite you to the next thing.
Yeah, because even before I ask my question, it's like where I got annoyed was the Guinness one. Yeah. Now, like I said, I don't mind, you know, not getting an invite or whatever. And even with that, this is the last time I'm gonna have this conversation, anyways, because obviously I have something to say on this or whatever. Yeah, but before that, it's when you see the offices, you see the Jessies, you see the where's your head at, no bother. Then when you see one random dude there, that's where it's like, why you get me? How come you're... Now, I know I sound a bit entitled here, and I'm going to get to that because I think, like I said, I was going to hold accountability. There is entitlement issues from me, and it was actually Ian when she was... I don't know, what do we call it? Ian, Zeta, fucking... Zeta, yeah? Zeta was snapping on Twitter today over this whole conversation. Obviously, listening to Charge It, and she hit everything on the money. Every single point she was making. It felt like she was hitting a dagger to my heart, and she was speaking to me. Now, obviously, someone did call me, I won't name names, because we don't do that here anymore, thought they were aiming at her. Do you get me?
Okay.
And I was like, nah, it's just talking in general. Even I'm feeling it, because it made me look at myself, because, like, yeah, I call myself the biggest star in Dublin, and I get recognised when I go outside, and people in your job are like, you're that guy, and you're walking through town. That's all good, but it doesn't matter. You're still not doing enough. Do you know what I mean? And it's not even about, like...
Doing enough for who, though?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, yeah, perfect. Like, I'm not doing enough, like, but I'm not, like you said, I don't know. What am I trying to say?
Goody, I would take your hand off for some of your audience. This is the thing. You could, like, no one... Like, some people will come over to me and they'll be like, oh, you run Black and Irish. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. But, you know, you get a lot of love from your audience as well. And when you go to these events, you get a lot of love from some of the other people that are, you know, in the scene or are doing other creative stuff. Maybe not. They're not going to show you the same love as the person who's, you know, really going through it, who's living in Glenshane and is like, you know what, I'm gonna go and watch Dongo tonight because he makes me feel better. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
There's been times where I've been like, oh, I'm going through a really tough time. I'd love a good laugh right now. And I stick on one of your podcasts, and it's like, do you know what I mean? This is great. So I feel like people are they're very focused on the wrong people.
Yeah.
And it's when you focus on the wrong people that you'll begin to drive yourself mad.
Yeah.
Because you'll ask yourself, why haven't I being recognized by this person? Why isn't this person taking notice of me? Why isn't this person writing to me and saying, well done on what you've done. But you're getting 50 other messages from people who are saying exactly what you want them to say.
Yeah.
So I think people need to take their attention off of who they are not and focus on who they are. And then they will become exactly who they want to be. Do you know what I mean? Like they will grow into that that person that does get the recognition from others. And like it's not all that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you'll come to realize that.
But one thing I have to say though on this though, you have to understand as well. People are human beings also. People have emotions. You get me? Even me, I'm very emotional. Do you know what I mean? And you're gonna react. And another thing as well that kind of annoys me about this conversation. People kind of trying to like not too good to have the conversation, but don't want to have the conversation because we're moaning. But what's the end goal? Do you get me? So for me, it's like me now. I preach to people about hard work, dedication. Don't cry, don't ask for handouts, whatever, blah, blah. But there's me there, entitled fucking laddie over here, wanting to be at all these things. Like, just keep pushing, and if they call you, they call you. Like I said, that Warner one, when I was in work, I got the email, I laughed. Because I usually don't get these, do you know what I mean? I usually don't. It's just like, when I just see certain man that aren't, like, and you have to understand people's why they're upset as well. Like, do you know what I mean? One person I can name, because obviously it's out in the public, I can talk about, but I don't know her, only got sent to me, was Alicia Ray had an issue with not being invited, you know, and I get it, because like obviously she's doing a lot for the scene. She's an artist, and do you know what I mean? And there's just certain man that are there. It's mad, do you know what I mean? I don't know. People have to understand also why people are moaning. Do you get me? Yeah. You have to understand people are human beings. They're gonna have a whinge. They're gonna feel upset because I'm putting in this work, this graft. Why am I being? Because at the end of the day, bro, we do all this shit. No, I don't give a bollocks what anyone says. You do it for the what's the word? Is it not what's the validation?
Okay, yeah.
You do, bro. I get, even what I told you guys privately what I said earlier, that made me feel good. Obviously, I'm going through a tough time or people ridiculing you, but you going there putting that message and it inspired, like you said, it inspired someone, you get me? Yeah. So that made me feel good. And that's where, like I said, right, go back to that. Go back for the people, bro.
Yeah.
Do you get me? And my advice to you when we get into the black and Irish stuff, bro, is like, when you fight for the people, bro, when the people have your back, forget, obviously these corporations have the money and the clout and all this, blah, blah. But when you fight for the people, bro, they're the real people, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what keeps me going in this thing anyways, it's the people, do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Well, like, look, I think if people are saying to themselves, okay, I do feel a bit of entitlement, you know, kill it off. Say to yourself, okay, well, like I'm gonna bring it back to my roots. I'm gonna focus on my core audience. I'm gonna make sure that they're getting as much value from me as possible. Like, you know, I'm not going to focus on what I can get from it. I'm going to give as much of myself as I can. And you will get more than you ever, like, could have imagined from that. Yeah, so I think that's it. Like, focus on your core audience. Don't, like, you can build yourself up to a point where you can be entitled. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of us, and myself included, are yet to be at that point, you know? So yeah, that's...
Do you feel, even we're going to get into the black and Irish stuff in a minute, but do you feel like, see with some of the stick that you might get, yeah? I just talked about the people there, yeah? You know, obviously being for the people and all, obviously you are for the black and Irish community, as you guys say, but when you hear people say stuff like, yeah, but they're an exclusive club, they're all for them, this, that, and that, do you see where people are coming from or no? Because there is a lot of heavy, even me when this first... You know, when Youth Force, you man came out, obviously the fucking, what's it called? The award shows, the this, that, and that, all the main things that you man do. I thought, yeah, lovely, look at these man, blah, blah, blah. But then it's not just the people on the block or whatever, it's our peers. I remember even going on Charger. You went on Charger, sorry. I don't lie. Deji, fair play, you held your own, but Deji, he was pressing high, man. Prime Liverpool, do you know what I mean? I had to open the bleeding window watching that podcast. I was that, like, do you know what I mean? He was coming in on you with a couple of stuff. But where'd you think where'd you get that type of heat, like?
Like,
I just see people's point of view. Be honest.
I'm the type of person that I put myself out as someone who is approachable. I'm open to, you know, critique. No one, or very few people, have messaged me personally to say that they have an issue with black and Irish. Very, very few people. A lot of the time where I see issues that people have with black and Irish, they're taking it to Twitter first. Which, as you can imagine, and which I'm sure we will get into, when people go to Twitter first, you know, that can nearly make you cross your arms and go, you know, why didn't they just message me? Like, why can't they?
Now, Leon. Now, Leon.
As I said, we will get into that.
Yeah, we will.
But it does, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, the majority of messages that I get into me personally or into Black and Irish are overwhelmingly positive. So anyone that does have a gripe with Black and Irish, I will invite you to message me personally. You can take my number off Dongo. You can give me a call. People that say that Black and Irish are cliquey, I highly doubt they have messaged me asking if we can do something with them. Anyone who has ever asked me, can Black and Irish help them with this or with that, I would say 99% of the time, unless it's something absolutely outrageous that we just can't, I have said yes. Whether it's JLL's listening party or getting DJs into a summer of DJs, and like I'm focusing mainly on creatives because it's a very small knit group of creatives that feel like Black and Irish isn't doing enough for them, when that's not all that Black and Irish does. I understand that there's also, I suppose, subsects of the Black and Irish community that feel like, okay, but maybe Black and Irish isn't for me because we're doing work with like in other areas, like in schools or in businesses or with politicians and stuff like that. And it is a kind of core objective for Black and Irish this year to get into different communities, to reach out to different people, to not be seen as so creative heavy on socials. I would say that our work has always been more or less evenly distributed amongst the kind of areas that we work in, but I can understand why some people will say, okay, well, Black and Irish only focuses on the creative scene. That's not all that we do. That's not the only work that we do. So I suppose to give you a roundabout answer, I can see why some people will see that we're cliquey, but I don't think that they've made adequate attempts to try and approach Black and Irish. Black and Irish can't approach everyone because there's way too many people. We try and approach various areas of Irish society as we can, or as an issue flares up. And issues flare up all the time, whether it's in the school, or whether it's in a business, or whether it's with a politician and their remarks, or whether it's in a creative not getting marketed properly. We put out a lot of fires. So it's difficult enough for us to be highly proactive in what we're trying to do. Now, we still are proactive in what we're trying to do, but it's difficult. So what I'll say is, before you say that Black and Irish is a clique, try and have a conversation with me. Try and see if you can come up and talk to me on a night out, and if I'm going to turn me back on you and say, don't talk to me, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've never been like that with anybody. So I really appreciate the opportunity that I'm getting to come onto this podcast and speak to your audience, because I understand that I might be a lot of your audience that are saying this. Do you know what I mean? But I'm an approachable guy. I was born and raised in Tala. People can come up and speak to me if they want, or they can drop me a message. Like my socials, they're not on private. You can drop me a message, and I will do my best to work with you and help you as much as I can.
Yeah, see, with that though, it's not just like, obviously I can tell you for free, listen, I'm not a rat, yeah? I'm not a rat, but it is a lot of it. And look, you've obviously been on podcasts and been questioned on this and on stuff, and I'm sure you've had conversations with people from the scene as well. Yeah. You did say this way, it stuck with me, yeah? Obviously, with Black and Irish, my understanding of it, obviously I thought like the organisation was for like, you know, the communities and stuff like that. I know, like, obviously we had chopped it up with the mayor, doing a bit of cleaning around the gaff, and obviously you said it's mainly creative based, yeah. So that's where it kind of went, where my audience do come in, was like, I'm having conversations with my, you know, my sister earlier on. Obviously she knows you're coming on, and it's the same question again. It's like, what do Black and Irish actually do for us? And I've heard you say about it. Do you know what I mean? You get questioned like, what am I doing for the lad in Brookfield or fucking Glenshane or Kilnarden or whatever, yeah? And it's like, I remember one time one of your guys, they went off, they were doing some speech thing. And in the middle of Black and Irish getting a bit of heat, they were at the Canadian embassy doing something, I don't know what it was. I was thinking in my head, and you can answer for me, excuse my ignorance, it's like, yeah, that's nice, yeah, fair play to you, bro, like, lovely. What's that doing for my man in Bleeding Rossfield, you know what I mean? Like, so what's the gig with that?
Well, it might not necessarily do anything for someone in Rossfield, but it might do something for someone in Rossfield. Like, for example, if we do have a project where we're going into an area like a Rossfield or like Brookfield or Jobstown or Tallaght in general, you know, we've now built a relationship with the Canadian Embassy where we can reach out and ask for funding if they are willing to fund some projects there. Do you know what I mean? Like, none of this stuff is free. We're all volunteers that are trying to do this work. So yeah, there might be things where people are looking at that like, oh, how is that helping me? But you're not, like, people are not the only Black and Irish person in Ireland. There are people who are in a multitude of circumstances. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in terms of us with the Canadian Embassy, that is building a better understanding for the Canadian Embassy of the, I suppose, poor turnout of Black and Irish politicians. They will then do their best to see if they can help and, like, I suppose, bolster Black representation in politics, which is something that we need to challenge. We've had 3 Black politicians in the history of our state. This is problematic. We need as many political allies as possible. Do you know what I mean? So if we get invited to the Canadian Embassy, you know, I'm not going to go, no, sorry, you know, thanks for wanting to help us, but we're not interested. Of course I'm going to send someone. You know, I might not go myself, but we have people who work in different areas of Black and Irish that can go. So yeah, so in terms of what we can do for people from Brookfield, Rossfield, Glenshane, if they have a project that they're working on, they can reach out to us. They can say, hey, I'm working on this. I would love Black and Irish's help. Is there anything that you can do to help me? And I will do my absolute best to help them.
I have a little idea, right? Just before I pivot, though, I have, just on that, yeah. Before we get back into the question, let me just ask you a personal question. What's the question? Does it get tiring, Leon?
Yeah, of course it does.
Like on your what you when you well, obviously it's calmed down for the world. Obviously now this is gonna obviously, you know, people are gonna do the think pieces, do that Gary Neville Monday Night Football analysis on the podcast. He's chatting, she's doing. You know what I mean? We're gonna get all that, yeah.
Yeah.
But does it not, like, see with all this? Does it not obviously not make you want to stop it? Because obviously I know you're a passionate person, and obviously you want to prove some people wrong. And obviously, from what this is my own opinion, this is not no one's opinion. My own opinion. I feel like you do want to do some good, but it is me even learning this to please Black people. Forget that, please niggas. It's not easy, bro. It's not easy. No, but does it get draining, Leon?
Yeah, of course. Like, look, the nature of any volunteer organization is that it's going to get tiring. Like, of course, I have been tired. I've gone through burnout, I'd say, about 3 times. Yeah. That has been very serious.
Have you ever thought about stepping back and just saying, fuck this?
There's been times where I've been very upset or very frustrated or very angry or really annoyed. I'm like, I'm really trying to do something here, and it doesn't seem like someone has an issue. Now, like, look, there's a lot of things that I've learned with this by running Black and Irish, and that is everyone's going to have an opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Like I said,
I think you've said it best.
Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one.
Some of them stink. Do you know what I mean?
Smelly holes.
Do you know what I mean? So some, like, there's always going to be people that are going to be naysayers of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's fine. I used to take what absolutely everyone said as gospel. And if someone was criticising Black and Irish, it would really deeply hurt me. There was a time, do you know what I mean? I'd say somewhere around the start. But then I saw this thing and it was like, if you wouldn't take advice off of someone, why would you take criticism? So now when I see people criticize me all the time, do you know what I mean? Like, I've got messages that I can show you or tweets that I can show you, people like, you know, saying that I'll never be Irish. Do you know what I mean? You know, if I was to sit down and listen to all of those people, I would go mad. It would drive me crazy. I would be chopping and changing what Black and Irish is doing every 10 minutes. But I don't do that because I believe in myself. I have faith in me and my team and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. And I do think that we're going to make Ireland a better place. I do think that we're going to make Ireland more inclusive. I think that Black people in Ireland will have a better quality of life because of what we're doing. We're going to build Black representation in Ireland. We're going to make schools more inclusive. We're going to make businesses better at hiring, attracting, retaining Black professionals. And we're going to make sure that mainstream sees Black creatives. So, you know, people can throw. I was going to say the F word there.
Listen, if I speak, say what you want here. Say what you want. Flow.
People can throw it at you all day, like, do you know what I mean? But, you know, if you know what you're doing, if you faith in what you're doing, do you know what I mean? It'll slide right off. Now, there are some people that, you know, their opinion will carry a lot of weight for me. Do you know what I mean? And I will listen to them. And when they say, Leon, I think you should be wary there. Of course, I'll stop and, you know, think about what I'm doing. I'm the type of guy who I have very blue sky thinking. I sometimes will run into things without thinking about it. You know, that I can be overly ambitious sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with that. Same with me. Nothing wrong with that.
When you're trying to bring a team along with you, it's really important that you've got buy-in from everyone and that you're managing their, levels of burnout. Like, as I said, everyone is a volunteer here. Like, do you know what I mean? So, it's important that you're managing people's workloads, that you're managing people's time, that you're managing their capacity. Capacity and workload are two different things. Like, someone might be able to handle 7 or 8 projects at once. Some person might be able to focus on one project, but they'll kill it. So, like, the Black and Irish team is, 17 people. Do you know what I mean? They all eventually report back to me. If something goes wrong with Black and Irish, that's my head is on chopping block. So, it's important that they all feel like they can, speak to me, that they can inform me. Okay, like, look, I think we need to pivot here, and I'll sit down and listen. But at the end of the day, buck stops with me. So, I think I saw Chiomene put it out the other day. Pressure is a privilege.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I shared it.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in a position where you can work for others is, I think, one of the best things that you can do. And people won't see all of the schools that I go in and talk in, or they won't see all the businesses. They won't see the government officials that I'm grilling, or they won't see me having a one-to-one with the commissioner of An Garda Síochána and saying that, like, look, these things need to change, and them saying, you know what, yeah, I'll take that seriously. They won't see all that, but it's something that I'll be able to go through my life being happy with, that I know that I did my best. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that I can say that I do. So yeah, it does get tiring. To circle back to your question eventually, but it's absolutely worth it, and I do it 100 times over. I don't think there's anything that I change, because I've learned a lot from the others.
Yeah, especially I love that last bit there where you're talking about when you go into the Garda and you're going at them, because that's one where the block will love, because not obviously you're here, obviously there's a lot of eyes, there'll be eyes on this. I don't want to say too much, I don't want to look like an idiot either, but stuff like that is important, that we know that we have an organisation where they're going at people like that, because how they behave and how they move is in these areas is disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's horrible. I remember even with the Talking Bollocks lads, they raised, and this is again when you have influence. One of the reasons as well I want influence and power is not the, oh, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you, I'm this, I'm that. Where a lot of our black people would want to get power to be the guy. No, like you said, it's power to the people. Do you know what I mean? It's to help the people.
Of course.
There's so much shit that in my mind. It's like I keep saying, it's like, and it's not a joke either. People can laugh. Like I said, I'm not TD Jakes, I'm not KD, I'm not Be Humble. You know what I mean? Mathieu Chapitre saying, shout out Be Humble. He knows that joke. It's like,
I laughed at that joke.
there is a mission that God sent me on, and it's you've been through, so you know me, you saw me play ball, and it's a different call, and it's like people are inspired by how you speak, how you go on, and all that type of stuff. And like I said to you, Leon, people, they won't see that. That's something for us to gain or whatever, bro. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, God sees your heart, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not giving you flowers. Let me cook you a little bit, yeah? Let me cook you. I'll lamb by you a little bit, yeah? Brother, you talked earlier about tweets and what can I not just message the guy. KD referenced it as well when I went on Where's Your Head At. It's like, yeah, grand. We should be able to kind of like talk about each other online and all. Now, there could be a conversation, but I'm sure we can have it off camera as well or whatever, but it's like, do you know when so, like, say for instance, what happened to me during the week, yeah? If podcasts talk about it, is what it is. I'm not going to go mad because it's a conversation. I'll probably do the same, yeah? But when it's something deep, personal, and then it's like, especially how you know my character, like, you know me more than him. You know me longer than him, do you get me? Yeah. And like, when it was over the Nobody's in Ireland thing, yeah? I'm sitting there watching Coco Melon with my son. Shout out Tiago. Watching Coco Melon. 8:26 in the morning, boom, tweet off Leon. I said, yeah. I seen paragraph. I said, yeah. I said, what is this? And then obviously I don't remember the tweet, but it's like there's just some points where you were just like, I was like, Leon, you're like, this misogynistic. It's something against black women. It's like, it's like something against women. Sorry, not black women. Yeah, but obviously my man dates black women, so it was aimed at black women. But whatever, yeah. It's like. What part killed me and kind of hurt me slightly is like, if this is what Dongo was about and this podcast is about, I'm not going to watch anymore. I'm just thinking in my head, I think I've done a pretty good job. I don't know, you guys can agree with me or you can't. My podcast is not about coming up here grilling women, number one, grilling, whatever. It's a bit, how we got, because I know Snowden articulated it perfect when I went on that episode, how we put up clips for tractions. Even right now, we're talking about Black and Irish, yeah? And we can get into a conversation a bit about this as well. If you go into my latest clip with Orla and Naomi, go into the comment section. It's fucking crazy. And that's the reason why you put these clips up where the taxi driver was like, we're only getting you in the last 20 years. That's why I'm shocked your name is Orla. Do you get me? So that gains traction. It's like 5,000 likes, 100k views on Instagram. Victor Alfred and fucking... Who else is pulling that's the numbers they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. It's madness. You get me? So that's what, I never put that clip up to hurt anybody. It was a funny clip. He was moving mad. And even in that episode, I talk about, just literally went through about a 5th breakup with herself where I was going through shit. He just came up here and made me laugh. I didn't put it up to hurt anybody. It was a funny clip. But obviously when you tweet me, I was like, obviously I've heard a lot of shit people in the grapevine. People obviously they chat shit about you or whatever, blah, blah. And I was kind of like, yeah, I hear it small. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously I went on my little tangent. Ever since then, I've been attacking you ever since then. Cause obviously I felt a little way. But even, bro, you're laughing. One of the man rang me. Obviously this was going on. I was like, yeah, Dongo, I'm in the square with me child. I'm going to drop out the man. Where's Leon? I'm going to go to his gaff. I was thinking in my head, no, bro, slow down. It's grand, it's whatever. Yeah. Obviously you called me and all. And it's like, yeah, so you talked earlier about as well, like, you know, some of the things that you have to be wary of. Yeah. Don't come for me online. Don't come for me online because it's not good news when you come for me online. But yeah, just on that, what was your kind of like at the time though? What was your thought process like with it? Do you think I was being stupid or what was the gig with there?
I disagreed with the content.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and you know, I don't think that's me saying that I disagree with you or that I disagree with Kieran. I've actually gotten to chat to Kieran a couple of times. He's a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Someone said he was sent to the black community by the CIA.
That is hilarious.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Kieran, don't cook me. Don't say they don't watch my podcast. The way they try to charge it, don't do that.
No.
Someone said you were sent by the CIA.
I know, look, I think it was a mistake, but that's not like I've made mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone makes.
What was a mistake? What he said or me putting it with the clip?
I think both. To be honest.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm able to use my Twitter whatever way I like. You know, granted, I do know you a long time, and I've admitted that. Yeah, I should have called you first. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm happy saying that. Like, of course, I would stand by what I said in the tweet. I need to recognise the fact that I know you a really long time.
And you need to also recognise the fact, this I'll say to you as well, I disagree with that you disagree that the clip was wrong or whatever, but it's like I said, if people watch that podcast, I never prompt him to that question. We were just talking about something. I think it was like baddies are getting shit on for 350k or 50k in their chest in Dubai, and he just went, there's no baddies in Ireland. Do you get me? And I just found it funny, and then it went how it went, and that's when I'm putting up clips. That's what you're doing. You're doing that for traction, to get people to actually watch the podcast. You know what I mean? So that's the aim of the game, bro. And my thing is like, even when you watch I don't know if you watched the one with the Malloy twins, the boys are probably looking at me, this fella's mad. They dropped a lot of gems, bro. They were dropping gem after gem after gem. But I'm putting up clips of you man's dick the same size. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, bro? Yeah. Bless Weddy came up here, he's talking some smoke. I'm asking like, would you ride a transgender woman for 100k? Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, bro. It's traction. It's just the game that I'm in, bro. It's just like if I come up here, put motivation stuff, no one is watching. Look, it's the game, bro. I have to play the game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
to be absolutely fair to you, Longo,
you
know this game better than I do.
Yeah.
So if that's what works, I don't know this. Do you know what I mean? This is not something where I'm like, you know, with for example, the Black and Irish podcast. Like we don't do clips on that. Like we don't make video clips. I haven't done anything like that before. So like you know best in this scenario, but at the end of the day, anyone is entitled to put up their opinion about whatever they want.
And not everyone has to agree either.
100%.
Not everyone has to agree either. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I understand where lines may have been kind of blurred in that people might see, okay, this is Leon from Black and Irish attacking Dongo. I think when you look at the tweet, it's actually a compliment sandwich. I top it and tail it with how I think your content is really strong, generally really strong, generally, you know, good, inspiring, funny. You know, in the middle, I say I disagree with this piece of content. I don't think it's very good for such and such reasons. You know, so like that was the basis of the tweet. It was never meant to make anyone feel. I think it became bigger than what it actually. No,
it did. But boys ringing me and all dropping their kids off to go and bait the hair off. But it's like question I have for you then. You see, I
think people need to if that's genuinely people's thoughts. If they're like, okay, I need to go and physically attack someone because they shared their opinion online. Like that's a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
but see, with that, I had a, because like I said, I posted a picture with you today on my Snap. Me and you and the mayor.
Yeah.
And someone popped up. He's, you know, obviously you're not gonna again not name names, but it's like, oh, I don't like black and Irish. I don't.
He's
like,
elusive characters.
I don't like Leon,
either.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I was like, right, look, I have him coming on the pod. Do you have a question from the last?
Yeah.
So obviously I popped up and I asked him, and his question was, he's just basically asking, with that, like, you know, do you feel, because obviously, like, my brother and I was going mad as well. People are going mad. What's he doing? What's he da da da? It went crazy, right? He was, what was he saying? He's saying, oh, he thinks he's a baddie. My brother Sean said he thinks he's a baddie.
Great one. And I was reading it. I was like, he got me. They're not going to pick you, bro.
Yeah, and it was Sean. That was Sean. Sean had about 4 or 5 tweets.
No, it was very good. Very good.
Yeah, but do you feel like, see, with, like, I think you touched on it a little bit. Do you feel like, okay, with these issues and matters, do you think you are, let me get the question. I think, is it the face of black people? Or I don't know. Sorry, guys, on the audio listeners, just getting this question up. Ask him, does he think he's the face of the black Irish people?
No.
That's in essence his question.
I don't think on the face of it.
Yeah.
I think my organisation is working on behalf of black and Irish people, and it will continue to do so, but I don't think we're the face of black and Irish people. That's kind of, that's
there
it.
you go. You can't say no more.
Was there something else I was going to say? No. I think that's it.
Quick, obviously, I forgot to do intro at start. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is episode 6, If I Speak podcast. Your host, Dongo Productions, Dongo. We got Leon in the building, just chopping up here, talking all things black and Irish, life, whatever the gig is. I want to get into black and Irish a little bit, yeah? Just let's go from the very start, right? So what initially made you start this organisation, Leon? And then talk to me about, obviously, I always go back to the start to meet the man today. Your experiences, obviously, I know you've touched on many podcasts, but just to get an understanding of you and why you started, because I want to touch on a lot of things where sometimes like, some of the clips that I put as well on TikTok, it's a racist podcast, crying over racism and all blah blah. There's a reason, obviously, why you started the Black and Irish organisation. So talk to me about that. What was the gig? There was a COVID you started, was it?
Yeah, it was during COVID. Yeah, it was June 4th was when we started. So, where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with my personal experience, or do you want me to start?
Personal experience, sure, lead up to that.
We grew up in Tala. Great place to be. People are real salt of the earth. I do think that you are prone to come across some people who are not so good though. I remember times where we were walking back from the swim pool with Tyam and all, and you know,
shout out Tyam.
Yeah, a group of people shouting that we're black as the ace of spades and stuff. And, do you know what I mean? What are you laughing at, boys? No, but like.
Did you laugh like that? That guy, before man cooked me, KD started laughing. I know I said I'm not a rap, but he started laughing.
Do you know what I mean? And then, like, they're giving us dogs abuse and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like when you go to various areas, like I felt like I had to kind of just keep an eye on what was going on. Like, do you know what I mean? Personally, like I had a few racial encounters. Like got the shit kicked out of me at St. Mark's Church before. I had racial slurs chanted, but did he laugh again? He said laugh again.
He said dickhead.
KD went to the first time I ever.
Oh, your mum went to school, yeah.
The first time I ever talked to KD. The first time I ever talked to KD, he was giving it large to someone else, right? And I went over. I go, bro, what's your name? And he goes, Narnia. I'm like, Narnia? He goes, Narnia business, and walked off. And that was one of the coldest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was fuming that this little grey jumper got me. You know what I mean? But yeah. So like, look, experience racism like anyone else. You know what I mean? Like most people. KD will probably remember this. One day in school, we were all pulled out. All the black kids, all the black fellas in our school were pulled to the assembly hall for a talk on violence, which is mad. Do you know what I mean?
Jesus Christ!
That memory has been ingrained in me because that was my first ever experience of seeing how blackness is associated with criminality and how blackness was like. There was one, and I think it was particularly around like knife crime and stuff like that. And Katie, I don't know if you remember this, but there were 2 incidents where knives were brandished in our school while we were there. That was one where a fella who wasn't from the school came to the school and tried to attack another student.
Was he white or black?
He was both the guy who came to the school was white and the student was white.
Fucking hell.
And the other time then was a white student stabbing a black student in the leg. And all of a sudden then all of the black students are pulled out of class. Class didn't stop. Do you know what I mean? Like we had to go back and like learn what was missed. Do you know what I mean? So that was us being immediately put on the back foot because we're going to learn about violence, even though there was some kids in that school, and Katie, you can attest to this, there's black kids in that school that they did not put a foot wrong. They would go in, they would do their work, They would not talk. They would go home, do their homework. They would be early every day. Never talk back to the teacher, nothing. And I'm sitting and I'm looking at these kids and their head is down in the middle of the assembly hall. You know what I mean? Leaving certs coming up for us. And there's fellas that were in my year in there as well. And I'm like, this fella, Johnny, he listens to rock music. He doesn't get into any fights. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, so that was some of my experiences, like the very outward forms of explicit racism, and then the kind of more structural forms of how racism would present itself. So, that was the majority of my experience while I was living in Tallaght. I then moved out to Maynooth. I had an experience while I was going to find a house out there. I was told that house that I was trying to rent was not suitable for people of African origin, which is crazy. Do you know what I mean? Myself and
wait, what do they mean by that?
Do you know exactly what do you mean by that? Do you know what I mean? But
it's too like fancy, or you can't afford it. What? It does not. It doesn't look like. It doesn't look like a whole. Like, what's going on?
It wrapped up after that. Like, now, I really did want to go mad and just like you know start
effing and blowing.
I didn't actually know how to deal with it, because at the time I didn't know where to bring racist complaints. I didn't know where you brought them to the guards, if there was another area that you bring them to, or whether you just sit with them. And my whole life I just sat with it. I just sat with racism however it appeared. And yeah, like you know, that was most of my experience. I had the incident with the Lewis as well, which was me and my brother being racially profiled by security for other black kids who are on the Lewis and may have been misbehaving. And security are on me and my brother when they come on. They don't check anyone else, and they're like, show us your tickets and stuff like that. They're not inspectors, you know. So I show me ticket, and I'm like, you know, what you're doing is racial profiling. Like, it's not fair. Like, you can't do this. You can't single out people and treat them. And they were like, yeah, you know, well, we were kicking those other black fellas off all day, so we came over and checked you.
That's exactly what he said, word for word.
These are in court papers now. Do you know what I mean? So I went to the circuit court with this issue. It got thrown out. I then appealed it to the High Court, and I won there. Now, that for me was significant because it showed that, okay, I can stand up to these things, and I can, you know, I can get somewhere with it. I can get traction with it. Because now anyone that steps onto the Lewis and is feels that they can racially profile can challenge it. Do you know what I mean? Can bring it somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So those are some of the experiences that kind of shaped me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I was always someone that was ready to stand up and talk. Do you know what I mean? Whenever I saw an injustice happen or whatever. So that's just me. Black and Irish then is a organization that actually came from an Instagram account. So it started after the death of George Floyd. We saw George Floyd being killed on our screens. It was absolutely disgusting. I remember I was living in Maynooth at the time, going out my back garden, just walking up and down my back garden, thinking, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is awful. How could this happen? How could we be seeing stuff like this in 2020?" I ended up writing a letter to George Floyd's parents. Corny as it sounds, I know, but you know, I wanted someone to know that we're not going to sit down and let this just happen. Do you know what I mean? That we're actually going to do something about this. Like, and then I had the idea for Black and Irish, which was when we saw the protests happening in Dublin, they were very focused on the way racism presents itself in the US. And how racism presents itself in the US is very different to how it presents itself in Ireland. And what I mean by that is you've got a lot more violence against black people. You've got mass incarcerations over there. You've got a lot more police brutality. Notice I'm saying a lot more, because obviously we've had incidents now here in Ireland with it. I wanted to bring about an organisation that kind of showed. Actually, I didn't even want to bring about an organisation. I just wanted to start an Instagram account that. Sorry, one of my boards here has made it into the podcast.
That's all right, bro.
I wanted to create something that basically just showed Black and Irish people's experiences. Do you know what I mean? So we decided to. I brought the idea to two other fellas that were in the student movement with me at the time, because I was president of the New Students' Union, and there were two other fellas who were in other students' unions. And brought it to them. I was like, look, thinking of this. They were like, yeah, we'll help you out. So we started an Instagram account. It started sharing stories of black and mixed race people from all over the island of Ireland. And we got to see, you know, a lot of people going, oh shit, like, I'm not alone in this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely thought I was one of the only mixed race people who had the thoughts that I had about being mixed race. Do you know what I mean? So it was good for me to see other people were, you know, that I wasn't alone essentially. But I think a lot of the messages that I got when we were starting Black and Irish was that people felt it was very cathartic for them, that it was very, like, there was a pressure kind of taken off them, that they were able to share their story and that people were listening. So that was all well and good. Like, it's good to share people's stories, but we noticed then that, like, you know, we couldn't just share the story and then, like, oh, that's it, great, thanks so much, see you later, off you go. You know, that there was a kind of duty there for us to work on these issues and to challenge the things that were coming up. So we saw a lot of things about how people experience racism in school. We saw a lot about how black people were treated in the workplace. We saw a lot about how, you know, creatives were not able to get their work mainstreamed, even though they were working their ass off. So yeah, and it's funny how the conversations now switch to, like, how people in their own community is not focusing on them or seeing their work. But before, that wasn't, the conversation was, RTE doesn't play my songs. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I can't get a slot on this show to come in and talk about my work. So, yeah, we began working on these issues, and we just then decided to organize around ourselves and start an organization, because, like, you know, people that are working together, it's very difficult to brand us as, you know, John, Mary, Tom, and Peter, who are all working on these issues. So we felt that we were getting a lot of, I think the word is traction. You know, when people hear Black and Irish, they're like, oh, okay, this is something that I can check out, and these are stories that we can read, and oh, okay, they actually do work in other areas, so I can reach out to them to come into my school and talk, or come into my business and give talks, or help us with various policies in our space. So yeah, I mean, that was how Black and Irish started. I mean, we got a lot of crap, as you can imagine, a lot of messages, a lot of personal messages to me as well, being like, oh, you know, you're the N-word this, you're black that, you're a monkey this, you'll never be this.
Jesus Christ.
I got death threats at one point, you know, because of what I was doing. But, like, I didn't care. Like, do you know what I mean? People that are going to kill you aren't going to tell you that they're going to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? So, you know, it didn't stop me or deter me. So, you know, we had this organization up and running. We got a lot of messages from our community being like, okay, this is something good for us. Do you know what I mean? This is something that we can that can help me or my kids or future generations or whatever. We also got a lot of messages from white people as well, being like, oh my God, I didn't know that these issues were happening in Ireland. I didn't know that racism was an issue. And this is the problem.
Do you find, sorry, just you've articulated yourself brilliantly, but I want to come in here because there's a couple of things I want to say, right? Do you find that, I don't know, man, because a lot of times when I'm complaining about, because I stopped being a freedom fighter, I don't know how, see all this, even like I said, me coming at you and Black and Irish is this and I want to get into the awards and all that and all this stuff, yeah. I don't know how you bleed. I don't care who gives me stick, because a lot of people are going to want me to cook you, yeah, but obviously there's a couple of things that I do want to say that people want me to say. But I always admire people who go against the grain of, like, you know, people attacking them and they're like, what's up? I'm still going to go. Do you get me? I admire that. And people who watch me, who have followed me, know that they're the type of people that I love. Show me, I love strong-minded people that don't get put down from what they're trying to do. Because at one point, like I always say with this content stuff, I'm 5 years behind. Because a lot of people, Steve-O made it off Snapchat. Young Philly made it, I think he was doing Facebook videos, you know what I mean? I was doing funny videos ages ago, but people were chatting shit, who does blah, 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 Snapchat's not going to pay you, blah. PK Humble made it off Snapchat too. Do you get me? Boy, stop. Do you get me? But that mindset now, that's gone now. No one can stop me now, do you know what I mean? Like, 100%. And I always like to see, what, like, we touched on with the podcast and stuff, how it is, it's funny, it's aggressive, it's so much. When I do projects and when I do stuff, I want to see myself in that thing, do you get me? When I'm coaching a team, I want to see how me on that pitch, do you get me? So what I love about people, I like seeing me and them, do you get me? And one thing that I get from you is your passion. Definitely have that there. No one can take that away from you. And I think genuinely, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, you genuinely want to help black people grow and prosper, do you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of stick that you're getting, Leon, from people, it's mad, bro, but you have to kind of hear other people's perspectives on
none of these people have spoken to me face to face.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? To me, they don't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
I'm putting up with that, and you're trying to help the community. It's mad, innit? You're getting all a monkey, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to help a few. You'll get a few tunes on RTE. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? No, it's mental.
Look, it happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think actually where we get a lot of pushback is when we're doing like anti-racism workshops and people are like, I don't need to do that. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, sorry. Here's my question. Sorry, because I went off on a tangent. Sorry, I do that. My question is, with white people, yeah,
Yeah.
where I didn't know that wasn't happening. How could you not know? We've been saying this. Well, you waiting for Black and Irish Instagram for you to be told that
Yeah.
I got called a monkey or blah, blah, I got eggs thrown at me, my dad's car got robbed, you know what I mean? Like getting chased down the road by your dogs. You wait for Black and Irish. What's the gig with that? I don't buy that's bullshit. And then number two is like when Black people have said this as well, actually, to be fair. Do you feel like with Black and Irish, it's dividing us and them? They always say it's more of a problem than a fucking, you know,
Solution.
The solution, yeah.
We're only
Whereas
working on solutions.
it's
Like,
dividing. Do you not think so, no?
No, of course not. Like
Yeah.
if like, and I think it's going back to what you're saying about like, oh, there's a lot of people that are saying it in the ether, but they like say it to my face. Like come and say it to me. Like if you've got concerns about Black and Irish, or if you're seeing what we're doing, like, or you're seeing a section of what we're doing and commenting off of that, like, do you follow our LinkedIn as well? Do you follow our Twitter? Are you looking at the schools that we're going in and talking to? No, like, you know, drop us a message and ask, hey, I have this concern that you are causing a divide. Can you tell us how we're not causing a divide? And I'll say, absolutely. Okay, well, like, look, first thing that we're trying to do, we're trying to build Black representation. We're trying to get more Black representatives into politics. So we're not just sitting there going, oh, there's not enough politicians. Someone else can do something about it. We're bringing people together. We had 60 people in the CHQ in the middle of town talking about you know, the various issues that affect the Black community, but not just racism, but like health, housing, education, you know, the future of Ireland, and how Black people can be included in that. And, you know, but while we're there, we're also saying, you know, you're able to run for election if you want. So, I mean, we had 4 or 5 people who are now running for council at that event. Do you know what I mean? And sharing it. The likes of Yemi Adenuga, who's already a councillor, the likes of Islamia, the likes of Councillor Remu Adejimni, who from Longboard, who's now a mayor. Do you know what I mean? They're coming to those events and they're saying, "Oh, what you're doing is amazing." So, you know, those are incredible people who are in my face and they're saying, "Okay, what you're doing is really, really good and really, really strong." But then I've got these nameless and faceless individuals somewhere out there saying that Black and Irish is not doing enough for me, or it's you know, causing more of a problem, but they're not engaging with what we're actually doing and solutions. So no, I don't think what they're saying is correct, because I'm actually doing it. Do you know what I mean? You're on the sidelines, kind of shouting at me to do something else. Not you. I'm saying
I know
you as the figurative person. So what was the other part of that question then? Are we
white people not knowing the gig on like
I
think that's
I think
bullshit.
it kind of put them more on a spotlight. Of course they knew it was happening. They were benefiting from structures in Ireland that favoured them. Do you know what I mean? But now there's something that's you know, severely calling this out and giving first-hand accounts of.
Like you seen the man on the Lewis the other day, which it was a football teacher, and people just sat there, you know, and then we tell you these things happen. It's like, oh, snowflakes and race card, and that's one thing I don't like. Do you know what I mean? Like, what you mean? That actually annoyed me.
No, 100%.
You wait for a page to know that this was happening.
Yeah. No, like a lot of people, of course they were aware of it, but they didn't think of it as such a significant issue because they didn't see it all centralized in one point and going, okay, here's not just one account that you hear, and then 6 months later you'll hear something else, and 7 months later you'll hear something else. So it's like, you know, okay, well, you know, racism happens, but it only happens once every 6-7 months. So like, you know, we can deal with it. Do you know what I mean? When it's like, you know, we've shared like 600 posts now. Like, do you know what I mean? At this point, it's like, oh, okay, there's loads of people, and they're all saying this. Do you know what I mean? Like, we did surveys of schools. We originally went in to just find out what was going on with skills curriculum because we feel like it's really outdated. And like when I was in school, I only learned about the Atlantic slave trade and the Kill a Mockingbird. That was the only things I did on Black history or Black culture. And
that's that book in it where it has the M word in it.
Yeah, that's it. I was always made to read as well.
Yeah.
Always made to read.
Yeah, when teacher said M word, the whole class looking at me as if I'm bleeding.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know, so we went in to survey students and teachers on that, and we were like, and this is Brianna, who's our head of education. She's absolutely brilliant. She was like, why don't we include some questions around like experiences of racism and stuff like that, right? 94% of students who are people of colour said that they experienced racism in some way or form while they were in that school. Do you know what I mean? 50% of teachers said that they were able to identify and robustly deal with racism. Only half of teachers. Do you know what I mean? And this was like over 1,000 teachers that we surveyed, so it's big enough to be considered in a national Irish survey. Do you know what I mean? They were like, only 50% of teachers said, okay, if I see racism only 50% of teachers said, I can identify racism when it happens in the classroom, and I know how to deal with it. 80% of teachers said that they wanted more training. Do you know what I mean? That they needed more training to be able to deal with the diversity that's in their classroom. That's nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to actively be working on that. So we're going in and we're training teachers now with anti-bias and anti-racism workshops that we've developed over months and months of evidence-based research. And, you know, a lot of these teachers now have mandated their unions in order to make this training mandatory. Do you know what I mean? So this is, you know, I'm not going to go on Instagram and be like, the unions, because a lot of people don't care about unions. Do you know what I mean? If they're not a teacher.
I gotta lie, I'm one I can give a rat's, bro. You know what I mean? But it's important though that we have people, like I said, in these little spaces, people that care. Because I can even tell you something as well. I remember before, this is embarrassing for me. I remember all my classmates laughing at me. A teacher cracked a joke. I don't know if it's racist or not. Well, I think it is, but it's definitely something that teachers shouldn't be saying anyway. So I remember before, teacher said why they invented white chocolate is because so black people can make a mess of themselves. You know what I mean? And the whole class then started looking at me laughing. So I was thinking, crazy, you're the teacher saying this, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't imagine. That's what I'm saying. You guys need to be educating these people because none of my children come home to me and tell me that teacher cracked a racist joke because that'd be me. You'll see me on RT news. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Locked up. Exactly. Tell me about slapping a teacher on them. You know what I mean? Like it's madness. Some of the stuff that growing up in school, some of the stuff that teachers would say and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like that would contribute to these your students saying stuff as well. Do you get me? Like
I had a
fucked.
Actually, no, because obviously Katie is here as well. So
I don't tell the joke. No, don't say names. Don't say names. Yeah, tell the joke.
So, like I remember black v whites in PE.
Oh, I heard you saying that on the boys' pod. I heard you saying on the boys' pod. Yeah.
I remember one of the PE teachers going, "Leon, go on and show these brothers a bit of leadership." Do you know what I mean? I was what? Like, that's crazy. Like, he's referring to black students as brothers. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's mad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but like, and that, like, teachers would say madness and that.
How would you deal with racism today? I just said on the last part. With the girls even. I just laugh, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's like I remember one time me and Blair walking to school. You know, these builders walking beside one girl's garden. They was just do the gates and stuff. Weren't playing music. As soon as me and Blair walk, boy, we hearing 50 Cent, go shawty. Me and Blair walking, boy, we just laugh. I remember even saying that the Traveller story. I said that many a times, saying that he's not racist, but he's a black man. I'll just laugh. But obviously, in your position, I'm not racist, but he's a black man. But like in your position now, like, how do you deal with racism today? Have you had any experiences recently? Because even me, I remember in my house where we said this the other day. They're gonna laugh. People at home, in me mass, they were like, "Do you know what we're talking about?" It's like, haven't been called a nigger in a while, you know? It's like,
in a minute.
Do you know what I mean? It was just like, you know, like counting back the months since the last time you got it. Do you know what I mean?
You're welcome. No, like, look, I get internet trolls quite often. Today, do you know what I mean? Like, I do get it, but it's from anonymized accounts.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, like, there's some people that they don't care if their face is seen and they'll call me loads of names. Do you know what I mean? But no, it doesn't bother me.
See stuff like where you're saying one, even like with that video that went, that's what they're going mad. Yeah. Stuff like, you know, when they ask you where you're from and you say, "Oh, I'm from Dublin." Yeah. Where you're really from? Yeah. Stuff like that. Like, how is that? Can you call that? No, can you call that racism? Yeah, or can you? Do you know what I mean? Or stuff like your man said, like, you're only getting you in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Denial of identity is a form of racism, and it's a power technique. Do you know what I mean? So when you say that you're Irish, and you're like, no, you're not Irish. Like, do you know what I mean? That's a flat out denial of who you are and your identity. You're gonna go home, you're gonna think about that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna be like, they're not gonna go home and be like, "Oh, I can't believe I said that to that person." Do you know what I mean? They're using that as a power technique over you, and that's what racism is all about. Some
of the things I'm reading though, like just through the comments are crazy. You gotta have a little look when you're bored or whatever. Yeah. Some of the stuff is mad, right? Someone goes, "Oh, so if I was, you know, say my parents emigrate, use that right? Emigrate? Emigrated to China and they had me. Am I Chinese now? Stuff like that. Like they're saying, so that basically saying like just because you have a passport here doesn't mean you're Irish type of thing.
So this is the problem.
Which I'm finding absolutely. Let me go on. While you're talking, let me get some out for you.
We're tying together race, ethnicity, nationality, and cultural identity.
Yeah.
All under one, and saying that for you to identify with this culture, you have to be this color, when that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know what is Irishness? Irishness is not a color of your skin. Do you know what I mean? It's who you are from the inside. It's you know, how you express yourself. It's being able to tell a good story. It's being able to have the crack. It's being a welcoming and inviting person. Do you know what I mean? And like when we go back through the history of Ireland and the Irish and all of the experiences that they had with colonialism and having to emigrate through the famine and stuff like that, and the amount of dogs abuse that the Irish got while they were abroad. Those people and our ancestors and people who, like our Irish ancestors would be spinning in their graves if they saw racism happening in Ireland today. I always say being racist is one of the most un-Irish things that you can do. It's one of the most un-Irish things because of the history of Irish people is experiencing racism. It's experiencing discrimination. It's being told that you're with the blacks and the dogs outside the shop. You're not allowed in.
Should have wore that T-shirt. They have it more blacks, more dogs, more Irish.
Yeah,
I thought it was a bit corny. Fuck, but go on. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So this is what we need to do. We need to show that Irishness is not the color of your skin. It is who you are as an individual. It is how you welcome others. It's, do you know what I mean? Like with this whole refugee crisis that we have going on, we need to be making sure that people, when they come here, feel safe. We can't be threatening kids in hotel rooms, threatening to throw bricks through windows. And
Yeah,
all.
what's your take before we dive into it a little bit? What's your even me? Yeah, I touched on it on an episode. I think it was a Charger. I touched on it. I think a little bit as well with the boys. Hood Astro. I remember being on the Lewis going home, and the Lewis was stopped because there was a protest. I was like, what the fuck are these man, like 7 p.m. protesting, what's going on here? And I'm seeing like, get the fuck out and all, and there's a lot of like aggression. I'm thinking,
yeah,
do you know, I've heard stuff like this, get the fuck out and blah. I was like, man, these are refugees. But then obviously, can you hear the argument on the other side where they're like, a lot of these men are coming in unvetted. You know the gig, you know what they're saying, unvetted, or they're out here fucking, we're putting women in danger, there's criminals just coming in, they're just letting anyone in, they're not checking what the gig is. That's where they're going mad at.
Okay, well a lot of that is not based on fact. It's not based on knowing every individual that's coming in and knowing that they're not vetted. Like that's coming from racialized, essentially propaganda. Do you know what I mean? In order for us to turn other Irish people against refugees, that is the basis of what they're trying to do. Like a lot of the stuff of what we're seeing right now is far right sentiment, which is based in white supremacy and racism. Do you know what I mean? And it's trying to get us to turn on refugees. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not necessarily trying to get us to turn against Ukrainian refugees because they're white. Do you know what I mean? But international protection people who are coming from the likes of Somalia or Yemen or Syria, they're getting targeted. They're getting abused. Do you know what I mean? You're not seeing the same rhetoric being used against people from Ukraine. So, these are problems that we really need to challenge in our society, because we can find ourselves slipping down a far right sentiment route without us even knowing, because people are using shite essentially to turn us against one another.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, we have more in common with refugees than we do with people in suits that are running the country. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're closer to them than we are to people who are making decisions about our lives, who will stop the likes of me and you from getting a house for the next 10 years. So
yeah.
We're closer to them. Do you know what I mean? We are more likely to be homeless than we are to, get a house. So these are problems that we really need to challenge, and we challenge them by bringing people together, by showing people who the refugee is. They're a human being. They are fleeing the likes of war or torture or famine or persecution for religious reason or because of their sexuality or whatever, and they're coming to a country and they're facing persecution and discrimination again. It's crazy, and we have to stop it.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you, man. Though I've stopped being a freedom fighter because please, I'm tired. But let me just go back to what I was saying to you earlier, right? So this is one of the comments here. I'll probably read out two to you, and then we'll move on, and we'll get the fuck out of here. You need to stop being so sensitive. Asking questions put out of curiosity is not the same as racism. If I was living in Nigeria speaking Yoruba with my big Irish head on me, I'm sure many locals will be asking me the same kind of questions. Get over yourselves.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that first?
I mean, do you know what I mean? There's a difference between, like, asking someone what's your heritage, like where do your family come from, and asking someone where they're really from. Do you know what I mean? And like, a lot of white people don't understand it because it's not put to them in the same manner. Like, they're not. A lot of these people that were asking me where am I really from, they're not asking me this in a pleasant tone where they're trying, where they're genuinely curious. Like, they're like, nah, come on, like, you're not Irish. Come on, don't be lying to me. You don't need to, like, you know what I mean? That's it's microaggressions. It's, it's holding power over someone saying, no, I'm really Irish. You're not Irish. So where are you really from? Do you know what I mean? That's the basis of where they're coming from. And, like, I suppose people that don't experience it might never fully understand it. Do you know what I mean? But like, I will continue flying this flag. That where are you really from in a context like that is racist.
Can I go this way though? Yeah. Can I caveat to that and say, what if they're genuinely wondering where you're from? So how do you ask that question then? Because whatever way you try and like flip it, it seems like you're going a certain way.
What's your heritage?
What's your heritage? Okay,
Where's
fair
your
enough.
family from?
Because I remember as well. Another thing with white people I don't understand, saying coloured. Oh, I would have fucking hated myself if I didn't ask you this question, right? Yeah. After this, I'm gonna ask you this question because I need to even know for myself, having mixed race children. Yeah. Right. I'll go this way first, right? I remember my father's a man. I'm not gonna say his name. Obviously, when I used to work in the bookies, I seen him at the bus stop when I was going home one night, and he was like going mad over a staff member. He was like, "Yeah, this girl, she's a dickhead, and she never takes my bets, blah blah." But the coloured one, we had a girl called whatever, black girl. The coloured one, she's very nice, blah blah. I go. Listen. I'm not trying to like do the thing, but it's like you saying coloured is not right. You get me? You say black. Yeah, but I don't know what to be saying. Like, if I say black, I'm being racist. I go, no, you're not being racist. Saying, no, but they don't. Some of them, the way you say, like, they don't know. Some of them don't actually know. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, he's saying, a lot of white people to be afraid to say, like, they saying colour is the right thing. Yeah, they panic, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so, and I think, let's have it right as well. I think a lot of, probably our parents probably more so have made them feel like that because them saying black is like a bad thing. Do you get me? Like, or even some stupid stuff that they say, oh, black drivers are bad drivers, or black this, black that. It may seem a certain way, but yeah, I remember saying to him like, no, you saying coloured is very, very, it's peak. Like, do you get me? And another thing that's peak, here's where I want an answer from you, and I want you to explain to the people, especially the people who watch me, because I remember saying it before to one of herself sisters. She's like, oh, I don't know what to be saying. I was like, saying half caste. Yeah. I was like, no, don't say that. I don't want you coming to my family's home. Yeah. And I'm not educating you. And then they're looking at me then. Do you get me? Because my family, like I said, like me, very opinionated. Do you get me? Yeah. So why is it the wrong term to use half caste? Sure. Because I want to know for my own self as well. I know it's wrong, but I don't know why it's fucking wrong.
Sure. Okay. So caste comes from the Latin for castus, which means pure. So when you're calling someone half caste, you're calling them half pure. So the other half of them is dirty. So what half are they referring to as dirty? The black half. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, half caste is a problematic term. Because they're essentially calling you half dirty or half impure. Language is something that's very important, and that's something that we need to drill into, I think, everyone. Do you know what I mean? Saying that someone is a black person is not racist. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you need to describe someone and saying that they're a black person, that blah, 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 no, that's not racist. If you're saying that someone is a black such and such, or using their...
Yeah, discriminating and all.
If you're using their colour in a way that's trying to insult them, then of course it's racist. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you're using the colour of their skin as the reason why they are less than or something. Yeah. Other. So, I think that's what we need to focus on. Yeah, the term coloured is really problematic because, do you know what I mean? It's just lazy. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just saying that. So,
do you know what, Leon? Again, they can cook me, and you have to understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. I kind of get why they say it sometimes. The ones that aren't being derogatory, do you get me? Yeah. It's because they genuinely think saying black is racist. Like I said, I had that conversation with that man. Oh, I don't want to say it because what if we get in trouble? Like, you know, I don't know her name, blah, blah. I was like, her name is blah, but you can describe her as black. Okay, yeah. That's the colour. I remember even one time I was saying, even sometimes we do it I've seen where sometimes they'll say like our counterparts or our Caucasian friends. Sometimes we're afraid to say white because they get offended. No, I remember one time. I swear to God, I remember one time in work I was describing something. I was like white this. I said white about 5 times. But then one of my colleagues, and I used to buzz off this girl. I love this girl. She's like my sister. Like, you know what I mean? Proper buzz off. She got upset with me. She's like, oh, you wouldn't like if I constantly saying black. No. That's what I am. I'm black. Do you know what I mean? You're white. I'm describing these people as white. They're white. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, you know? 100%. It's weird, man. It's actually weird.
I do think that maybe because of using the word black was problematic in the past, that people started to use the term coloured.
There you go. Yeah.
But now, but terminology changes all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could use certain words in the past that you can't use now. Do you know what I mean? Because they have become problematic based on the nature of the word. And then eventually words will become less problematic. Do you know what I mean? You know, so yeah, that's... Yeah.
I wanted to ask you 2 more questions and we wrap up, yeah? Yeah, sure. Black and Irish Rewards. Yeah. What's the gig this year? Have you man set a date? And what way... So you see with that's another thing that obviously comes up as a problem, yeah? Where the criteria, the votings and blah, blah, blah. Are you man going to change it around this year again or what's the gig there?
Yeah, so we listened to feedback based on, previous years. And like, again, this is an event that we can do one time per year. So this is the third event.
Yeah.
So people, I think, need to just, be patient. We are building this into something that will eventually become something that's great.
I have a question around that though.
Great for our community, but again, we can do it once every 3 years. So we can do it once a year. So this is our third time. I gave away something on Bar for Bar, which is that it's happening on the 2nd of December. I'll give you an exclusive. It's not happening in Dublin.
Abi?
It's not happening.
We're traveling.
We're traveling.
See that one? Yeah, like exclusives not the prezi.
Do you know what I mean? So, now look, people aren't going to have to travel too far. But
where we going? Cork, Belfast.
We're getting outside of Dublin. Is the first thing. So it's in a neighbouring county. That's
Abi?
Yeah. So do you know your Leinster geography?
Well, I barely know Dublin. All I know is Brooker.
Anyways, so the awards are going to happen outside of Dublin.
Lovely. What came about that? Just a change? Or?
Yeah, no, look, all right, so a couple of things that we said in our December end of year meeting last year was that we got a bit of stick for being too Dublin centric, which is fair. I understand that. So this year we've
give it played. It's the capital. Give it over, will you?
Johnny, we've been over to Galway a couple of times. We've been down in Cork.
Yeah.
We've done a couple of events around the country. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to get out. Other feedback on the event was that the public voting system is flawed because they don't fully understand the work that goes in from some of the artists.
This is where I wanted to go now. I'm not just backing it because I'm very fond. I wouldn't even call him a mate. I'm just very fond of him. Yeah. Like I said, when you're in a position that he's in, I'm not saying he should have won either, but it's like I hear the frustration of him and his team. Officer is great, and even he dropped a song, The Living Proof, and it's really, like I said on Twitter already, Simba's already said it as well, it's going to be a great project, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I love when rappers are telling me about their situations, what they're going through, subject matter, all that, and I know this project's going to be amazing.
Yep.
But for him not to really be putting out music like that and win, while Cello's doing this, that, and that was a bit mad, It was crazy, and it is, like, you need to come up with I don't know, like, maybe it's more for KD, man, I'm more educated in this thing.
I can give you another exclusive.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there'll be certain awards this year that will be based on panel, so there will be a combination of experts and people in various industries that are going to be essentially deciding on the winner of the awards in certain categories. So for the music categories, there will be panels of music experts who. You have to give me a few exclusives, but let me ask. So music experts, we don't want to be seeing now. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Congo Boy, because he does reviews. We don't want to be seeing fucking. Yeah. I don't even fucking know. Do you know what I mean? Like, so who are these music experts? Well, that's yet to be kind of determined. Like we will.
Hey, because that. Please, that'll be another one where you're gonna get a bit of flack. So, say for instance, you got like critically acclaimed people like that in the industry and stuff like that. That will go a long way to.
That's exactly what
you should. Yeah, you should. No, but you could say, this person because he's a manager of such and such. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no.
Yeah.
Like, look, we're going to do things right now. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, and there will always be people that will have issues with what we're doing. But we've taken on the feedback. We recognise that certain parts of what we have done in the past haven't worked out the best. And we're trying to get to as an accurate reflection of who should win the awards as possible. So there will be certain awards that it is good for the public to be voting on them, so they will remain as public votes. There are other awards,
vote for the categories, yeah.
Every category will be open for nominations. Some will move into panels that will decide. Others will remain as public votes.
Okay, yeah.
So a couple of ones that you were in will stay as public votes. So I'm sure you'll.
No, listen. Last year maybe and the year before it was one. Like I said already, it's nice to be nominated. It'd be great to win. I know boys have different opinion to me. My thing, I'll go back to it again. You need sometimes, when you're doing these great things, you're speaking about these great things. People need to see it. Do you get me? So me coming from where I come from, the areas I come from, it's like me going back, getting awarded for obviously the good work and being consistent as well and stuff like that will amplify my message of, keep believing in yourself. This is not your situation. You can just be stuck here. You know, I once was on the dole, I was once jobless, I once had no hope, no whatever. Yeah. But I got myself out of that situation. I said, right, let me start. Like I said, this is not me. Like, I'm a footballer, bro. I'm a football coach. I'm a whatever. Football's my life, bro. I said this the other day. It's like if God said, okay, 100 million make it from podcasting, 100 million being a footballer, I'll be a footballer, bro. I'm looking at Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid when he's winning all these match-winning goals. He's chilling with Camavinga. Look, I miss that camaraderie. I know you man did nothing. I didn't even know that word. I missed that dressing room environment. You know what I mean? Like, and this is your little excuse if I knew as well. I'm gonna go back to football. I'm gonna text your brother after when I go home Tuesday. He Brooker FC. I'm gonna go back try and player coach because I miss it. Bro. I'm gonna go back, bro. I'm gonna lace up the boots, bro, and just. It's just something.
Is this the camera?
Yeah.
Dongo was actually a really, really good footballer. I'm not gonna lie, you're really good. I remember like when we used to like play on the
field, they're in Springfield and stuff, and Astro and stuff.
It's a shame that you got that injury.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's just something that just to go back because I miss it, bro. Just gave me so. I'm not saying I'm trying to go pro round, but something that I do really miss. You know what I mean? Like, so like I said, it'd be nice to be nominated or whatever. And whatever. Like I said, this year with music. Obviously, it's died down a little bit, but in my feel anyways, the creative scene, you have Sharon with the podcast now, because it used to be just me with that Ness, Charge it. You have Sharon now, you have fucking GTG now, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's see what the gig is, man, and hopefully you man get it right and proper, and then we can all just network and have a good time, do you know what I mean? Because I think, for me personally, meeting up with everyone's suited and looking fresh, having a few drinks, taking a few pictures, I think it's great, do you know what I mean? Like,
100%, and big ups Fiona from
Fiona, yeah,
100%. And you're going to see we have a very, very big sponsor.
She says she's taking bribes for people to win, yeah.
But Fiona, in 2 events, has built something now that it's about to go into the atmosphere with what is going to be announced this year. So, it's going to be huge. So, looking forward to it. Wasn't
for that. Thank you for that, excuse. And then last question, bro. No problem. One question only. Question for me, bro. Ask me anything you ever wanted to ask me. Here's your chance on camera, and I have to answer it. And we wrap up, brother. Yeah.
Where do you see the Irish... Where do you see the Black and Irish community in the next... No. I'll give... how do you think Black and Irish can improve?
Your organisation?
Yes.
Hey! On the spot. Do you know what? Straight up off the bat, I think... Go in. I know you did already a little bit. Do you know what I think we missed a trick, Leon? With the mayor. We should have went into... I know we were in, like, you know... Rossfield a little bit and around that centre. We went down towards the Lewis stop, no Achievers Town and stuff like that. I think be more visible to the people. I mean, I know Leon Guinness and this, that and that, but I'm telling you now, take it from me. Let me tell you a quick story first, right? I was going through a bit of a madness. On top of the madness I was already going through, yeah? I remember I was on the phone to Smiley. Smiley's giving out, I'm your manager, and people are saying this, people are saying that, and they're rare, they're giving out, this is why people don't, this is why you're not getting like invited to these events. I remember, what was that, Monster Fuzz had a yoke at what's it called, Walkman's. I think Cello, Monster Fuzz, they did some...
Monster Fuzz?
Monster, like, no, Monster. They did a yoke. He's like, this is why these people aren't reaching out, your character, your brand, you da all this, blah, blah, blah. I remember I'm walking through Brookfield arguing with him, yeah? But I remember someone stopped me and asked me a question, and then I was talking to a woman that her son's had to be in, like, you know, had to get shifted away for a minute. Right. I was having a conversation. This was just with real people, and I'm just like, I'm looking around, I'm like, these men don't care, but we're all the same here. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are the people that care for me. They... Like, not saying he is dumb, but I'm saying Black and Irish probably don't give a rat's about me. Ness probably doesn't give a rat's about me like that. Where's it? Do you know what I mean? These people don't give a rat's about me. But these are the people that give a rat's about me. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this is who I'm doing this for. No, I'm not going to retire. Because I'm going to retire. I was going to retire about 5 times. I'm sick of this. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, no, I'm doing it for these people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember even the other day, my son ran up to the top. Like, once he leaves the garden, he's gone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Ran up to the top of the road. And I remember walking him down. And I remember one of the neighbours, an Elfley. He's like, did he run up all the way up here? I goes, yeah, little bollocks. Call me son a little boy, but I get it. He's not slagging me, son. He's just like, that's where I'm from. Do you know what I mean? Real people, bro. Yeah. So for me, where you will win, bro, is going into these communities, shaking hands with the people and telling them what is it that you need doing. Even if you can't get it done, at least you're trying, bro. I'm telling you now, you win over the people, bro. This is why I'm so popular. I know in the industry that man probably don't like me. Don't give a bollocks, fuck you all. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a bollocks. It's the people behind me, bro. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Brookfield, these communities, Glenshane, Rossfield, people from the flats, people from these type of man. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I fight for, bro. So, you just go into these communities, bro, and show what you man are doing. Like you said, Garda fucking doing this and that. Because a lot of black boys do get pulled over by Garda. Because of the cars they're driving and all. What boys? Fuck off. You're not pulling a 60 white man over that. I remember one that told me, he got pulled in. He drives a Merc, nice Merc, like. You got pulled. Oh, you don't look like you should be driving this car. And it's not just white people. I remember one of my boys. I'll shout him out. Zach, humble boy, nice boy. Yeah. You guys getting pulled over. Oh, how you affording this and all? But fuck off. How you not affording it? Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you are doing that, the police stuff and this, that, and that, go into the communities. Don't just be at these big fancy corporate yokes. Blah blah blah. I'm telling you now, you'll win a lot of people over. It's about going into the people, bro. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
Super.
No problem. Thank you, Leon, on that passionate now I'm bleeding sweating. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that bollocks. Thank you so much. God bless.
Happy days.
Happy days, yeah. Happy